Ghost of the Deep is the newest dungeon added to Destiny 2, and hot damn, it's pretty good. I've seen a lot of people giving fairly mixed opinions on it over on Twitter, which, by the way, should probably follow me over there if you have an account over on that cesspool of an app, but for me personally, this might be my favorite dungeon to date. Sure, the transitions between encounters are very long, but the two boss fights that are up on display here are really good, and my god, the loot is absolutely spicy. And speaking of loot, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today as we go over the PvE god rolls for the Ghost of the Deep weapon set. If you guys enjoyed today's video and want to see more Destiny 2 PvE content, then hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's jump into this. Now, before talking about the origin trait and the weapons themselves, I just want to let you guys know that this is the newest dungeon in Destiny, which means it is 100% farmable. You can access the dungeon by owning the Lightfall annual pass or the Lightfall dungeon key, start the quest from Hawthorne in the tower, and then you'll find a node for it in the helm, and like I said, it's the most recent dungeon, meaning you can farm it as much as you want for the god rolls in this video, and I do recommend farming the final boss as she can give double drops, which yeah, you might get armor sometimes as well, but the armor looks really good in this dungeon, so I highly recommend getting it just for the transmog alone. Now, let's talk about the origin trait that all these weapons come with, which is called Restoration Ritual. This trait says that reviving allies or defeating combatants with finishers will reload the weapon and ready an emergency reload for the next time this weapon runs out of ammo. This means that, for example, when running the new rocket launcher with Envious Assassin, you can load 3 rockets in the magazine with that perk. Then you can get a finisher, and when you get down to your last of the 3 rockets, you can fire a 4th rocket, allowing the damage output of said weapon to be absolutely off the charts. This will apply for all weapons, as you can see with the SMG, as I will run out of ammo in my magazine after a finisher, and then instantly get another one loaded in, and I can continue to fire. This is one of the strongest origin traits I think we have ever gotten, and I absolutely love it. Now, let's hop into the weapons. No survivors. This SMG is the only primary weapon the dungeon has to offer, and holy shit, it does not disappoint. It's a 750 RPM solar SMG, and it just might dethrone Callous Mini Tool when it comes to being the king of fire. Not only does it have a phenomenal origin trait like we just talked about, but taking a look at the perks, we have in the first column, Demolitionist, and in the second column, Collective Action, Target Lock, Adrenaline Junkie, and Incandescent. I was somehow extremely lucky enough to back a god roll of Demo Incandescent on my stream yesterday, and that's the #1 roll I can recommend. However, that's definitely my bias for the perk speaking, so I would definitely also recommend Target Lock and Adrenaline as well to pair with Demo, but I'm just such a big fan of the elemental perks that Incandescent is my top spot personally. No Survivors does roll with a fairly low 26 base reload speed, so I highly recommend if you are farming this weapon to at least get it to roll with either a reload masterwork or some reload perk like Light Mag or Flared Magwell. Once you put all of those pieces together, you have what is, in my opinion, easily the best solar SMG in the game. New Pacific Epitaph. Oh yeah, the momentum of how good these weapons are is not going to stop here, because we're talking about the first ever Stasis Waveframe GL that isn't a heavy weapon, it is a special. Now, I don't want to be the one to disappoint, but this GL does not come with Chill Clip, like many of us were really hoping for. However, this is in fact the first Waveframe GL we've had to roll with Demolitionist since Martyr's Retribution, which, if you didn't know, was the first ever Waveframe GL. Grenades are extremely strong here in Destiny 2, and Waveframes allow you to kill ridiculous amounts of enemies in quick succession, which therein gives you tons of grenade energy. In the gameplay in the background, you can see me taking advantage of this with my Gerfalcon's Hunter by getting tons of weakening grenades that I can use to clear out waves of enemies and to also proc my invis. Taking a look at the complete perk set, in the first column we have Demo, of course, which comes alongside Lead from Gold and Unrelenting, with the second column featuring Pugilist, Kill Clip, Collective Action, Redirection, and Adrenaline. Low-key, I'd say Redirection is super good for this GL, as you never have any problems dealing damage to red bars, but the beefier boys could always use a bit more damage, and Redirection is a perk that directly helps with that. Regardless though, all the perks I mentioned in the second column are great, and I highly recommend a god roll of any of those being paired with Demo specifically. Cold Comfort. again, the momentum does not stop as we now segue into the stasis aggressive frame Cold Comfort. This weapon, as shown earlier, can fire up to 4 rockets in a row thanks to Envious Assassin and the Origin trait, making it one of the most unique rockets in all of Destiny. When it comes to the perks, I of course am going to strictly recommend Envious in the first column, with Explosive Light, Bait and Switch, as well as Chill Clip being fine options in the second. There's not much else I can say about this rocket other than it's an absolute must-have, and I feel that every PvE player needs to experience the rush of firing 4 rockets in a row. It's just fantastic. Greasy Luck. This is the final weapon of the video, and yeah, I will say that the momentum will be slowing a bit for this one because it is of course a glaive. You guys know I'm not much of an enjoyer of glaives, but this one isn't half bad. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first rapid fire frame legendary glaive we've ever gotten, meaning it has a whopping 90 rounds per minute when firing, which makes it feel so much better than the others. As far as perks, it can roll Impulse Amplifier, replenishing Aegis, and Lead from Gold in the first column, with the second having Unstoppable Force, Collective Action, Close to Melee, and Incandescent. The standout tier to me would be replenishing Aegis paired with Unstoppable Force, and Close to Melee in the second column is always a phenomenal glaive perk, so I definitely wouldn't sleep on that either. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we just rapid fired through all of the new Ghost of the Deep dungeon weapon god rolls, and I really hope you enjoyed. Definitely a very strong set overall, and if it weren't for me getting pretty much all of the rolls I wanted right off the bat, I could see myself farming this dungeon for weeks to come to land some really strong perk combos. I absolutely adore the new dungeon that Bungie has put out. I absolutely adore the weapons, and I really love the armor, as I feel like it's the best armor that we've gotten since Age of Triumph. Everything about this dungeon, in my opinion, aside from the really slow transition encounters, is absolutely fantastic, and I'm really curious, what do you guys think? Down in the comments down below. You guys know I read them every single day, so let me know what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and shout out to my Patreon and YouTube supporters for helping keep the channel up and running. In tier 2 and up for Patreon, we have Admus, BoomerNoob, Serenity, Austin, Cinco, and Galumia, and for my tier 2 YouTube members, we have BWC, Alex Miser, Hank the Tank, Bluesman, Aldo Martin, Kirigira, Imposter, Repulsive Potato, Brandon Fisher, Ram, Irvin Hornby, Mad Ghost, Salty, Nimble Fox, Mamimi, Clear, Angel, Ben McClellan, Mayhem Gaming, and Serenity once more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.